Greetings, this is Charles Darwin, and once again I'm in the bed of the Paluxy River in Dinosaur Valley State Park in Texas. And 110 million years ago, this was the edge of the ocean. And there were dinosaurs running around in the mud at the edge of the ocean. And then the footprints turned to stone, and today we can see them. However, they have to be exposed, and one of the people who digs away the sediments is Glenn Kubin. Hi, Glenn.
Hi.
And now that they've been exposed, and actually you had to sweep away a lot of the sediments to expose some of these fine footprints, such as the ones that we see right here. But there's a problem. Can you explain the problem with preserving these footprints? You make casts of them so that we can keep the information into the future, but what about these footprints themselves?
Well, there are hundreds of trackways in the Paluxy riverbed and other parts of Texas, and they were first uncovered just after the turn of the century, and in the late 30s and early 40s, Roland Bird from the American Museum of Natural History in New York cut out a large sequence, which some of them are mounted now behind a sauropod skeleton at the American Museum, and others went to other universities and museums. But they no longer cut any of them out, and unfortunately many have been lost through the track bed breaking and being washed downstream with floods, or just scoured and eroded by the force of the river. There are still quite a few that are in fairly good shape and recognizable, where you can see all the toes and good detail, but many of them are near the edge of a broken off area, and there's cracks running through the tracks, and it's very likely that within the next few years this track at least will be lost, and gradually more and more of them. You can see the cracks running through most of the tracks. And
so it may only take a few years to wash away.
Depending on where they are, right, but already dozens and dozens of trails have been completely lost through, again, breakage or erosion or both. And you can see where this one probably won't last much longer. Some of the best tracks in the park have been lost this way, but we try to record and document them as best we can through photography and mapping and making molds and so forth.
You said that some of the tracks that you saw in 1988 are just the entire part of the riverbed
right,
is
there's
gone
some sections where literally, the size of a football field almost, it's just been completely obliterated, washed away by floods, and luckily we were able to map and take some molds of some of those tracks, but others, they're lost forever.
So if you want to see the dinosaur footprints and trackways of the Paluxy River at Dinosaur Valley State Park, you better come soon.
Yeah, and also many of these areas, like the one we're standing on now, it's usually under at least a foot of mud and water, and only once every 10 or 20 years do we have a crew down here to clean it off as well. I can't take credit for doing all this cleaning. People from Parks and Wildlife and the park staff did a lot of this work last week, and it takes a lot of effort, so it's not that often that we can get these lower areas cleaned off. And again, they're being lost also, so eventually most of the tracks in the park will be gone, but they are at this level all throughout central Texas, so there will be others that become exposed, probably through erosion and other means, even as many of them are lost.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Glenn Kubin.
Thank you.
This is Charles Darwin. Tally ho and amen.